Hey there, welcome back again. This is going to be a book haul video. I think I've got a pretty good collection of books here. Got more nonfiction than fiction. I've kind of lately been compelled to read more nonfiction. I always threw in a nonfiction book, at least like one a month, one or two a month, but now I'm at the point where I want to read multiple at a time, and really all I'm interested in right now, to be honest, is nonfiction. I've kind of set up a couple like courses, since I'm not in school, I got to teach myself everything. So I've got like, for instance, here's just let's go. Here's the first book that I have. I do have it collected in a larger volume with his other works, but this is the particular one that I need to read in full for this kind of course curriculum thing that I've set up. And I found this for $1. Nietzsche's The Birth of Tragedy and The Case of Wagner. But yeah, Birth of Tragedy chiefly. So like what I'm doing now, I just finished Hitchens' Letters to a Young Contrarian just now, and it's great. I'll say something about that. Might do a review of that. But what I'm gonna read now, starting tomorrow, is I've read The Republic, but that's all of Plato that I've read. So I'm gonna do the Symposium and Socrates' Last Days. So Phaedo, the Crito, the whatever, the little 4 or 5 texts that are collected in the Penguin's copy is his Last Days. So I'm going to be reading the Symposium and Socrates' Last Days alongside of a second volume of Greek tragedy. I've read one volume, Oedipus, Prometheus Bound, Antigone, a couple others, but those are the best ones that I've read, especially Prometheus Bound. But I'm going to read some new tragedies alongside of Plato while I'm reading Plato. Finish, Symposium and Socrates. And then after that, I'm going to sit down and think about what I've read and then cap it off with The Birth of Tragedy. I tried to read this when, as everyone does, they just get real hyped to read Nietzsche, especially if you're kind of to quote Hitchens, what do we got here? If you're kind of a radical, a gadfly, a maverick, a rebel, someone who explores contrary positions, you kind of are drawn towards Nietzsche. And so I just jumped in before I'd even read any tragedies or Plato. I read a book about Dionysus. I learned about Dionysus from Jim Morrison, actually, who was like, self-proclaimed Hierophant, a manifestation of Dionysiac tendencies. And so I knew a little bit, and I've read a book by Walter Otto called Dionysus. I think it's by Walter Otto. I think it's by Otto, I think. It was good. And I got like 40 or 50 pages in, and then I just realized that I needed to actually read the tragedies and have a little bit more of an understanding for Greek culture before this made any sense. Before it became knowledge instead of just, words and disjointed aphorisms. And I know I didn't get to the part, but he goes on, I think, mainly a diatribe against Socrates. There might be some veneration involved, but I'm not sure. So yeah, so that's kind of what I'm doing lately with nonfiction, is I'm kind of setting myself just a cool little project that is different authors. Maybe this could be considered a commentary on the Greek, the tragedies, and Plato, Socrates, their ideas, you know, a criticism, a commentary. So that's what I've been doing. Now I'll talk about the next kind of nonfiction project I want to complete after the Greek, and this is going to be quite a commitment. So this is probably going to take a while to do. So I'll probably take a break after doing. I'm going to make a big video, like an edited, written video, voiceover and clips, and I'll maybe even make a little bit of music to kind of score my kind of synthesis of the whole Greek course that I'm putting myself through. And then after that, the next big project I want to do is I'm gonna read the Bible, and then I'm gonna read the Quran for the first time, the Quran, and for the first time the Bible in full. I know quite a bit about it. That's why I turned away from it, because I learned a bit too much. And I want to do like a read a verse from the Quran and then read a verse from the Bible and see if you can tell the difference, because, you know, so many Christians, at least in this southern Bible belt that I grew up in and still live in, sadly, they can't even fathom the fact that there would be any connection or crossover. They forget that, you know, often they forget that they're talking about the same God, just different revelations. So weird. But the first book I got is, I don't know if this is good or not. I should have asked some of my friends first, to be honest, but I'll do that next time. But let's see. It's by Frederick Denny, Islam. It seems pretty comprehensive. Let's see. We got some like structures of Muslim life, rise and historical development, representation, and it quotes a little bit of the Quran, you know, when it needs to, and history. It kind of has some pictures interlaced, so it just looks nice. It looks like a good introduction. It combines historical accounts and doctrinal accounts. At least that's my assumption. So, yeah. And then, so I'm going to read that first, and then I'm going to read the Bible in full for the first time. I got this copy, the Reader's Bible. It should just be called like the Atheist Bible. There needs to, I don't know if there is, I looked, maybe I didn't look long enough, but there needs to be a Bible that is a skeptic's handbook, that it cites at the bottom. There's footnotes that, you know, point out when the book contradicts itself, and then also contradicts what we've come to learn about reality. And that would be nice. I couldn't find one though. But this is it's ESV. I was gonna get the let me show you what this is first. So it's basically set up just like a novel. No irritating verses, you know, at every next line, and no chapter title, you know, Bathsheba's, you know, down on her luck, or you know, Job's had it, whatever the chapters would be called. It's just words on a page. Now, when it gets into the like Psalms, it puts it in like a poetic format, which I'm not too thrilled about, but whatever. Maybe I should read it like that. I mean, if it's a poetic section, I guess I should read it that way. But yeah, this book here, small print, thin pages. It doesn't look like it's super big, but the pages are very thin, so it comes out to be 1,825 pages, so it's going to take some time, but I've needed to do this for a while. I'm getting a lot more serious in my, just in my thinking about the subject. I think religion and philosophy is like the most important thing, important concept a person can tackle, and they must, I think, to really achieve clarity on how they want to live life, and just to kind of erect some sort of internal calculator that'll tell them what's right, what's wrong. I think it's very important. Philosophies of all kind. I love philosophy. And this is these books, Quran, the Bible, they're some of the most well-known philosophical texts. So again, the second kind of nonfiction project would be, well, maybe I'll do the Bible first, and then I'll read this Intro to Islam, and then I'll read the Quran, and then I'll contemplate, pull my thoughts together, and that'll be another highly edited, highly written out, well produced video. Okay, we're at 11 minutes. I hope this hasn't been boring. I enjoy talking. I think I've done a pretty good job. Alright, this is next. I don't have anything to supplement this with yet, but if this would be, in a similar vein of making this a course and supplementing other work with this book. I haven't gotten there yet. I don't know what I would supplement it with, but this is actually like a course in itself. This is Behave, the biology of humans at our best and worst. Robert Sapolsky. He's got a really good lecture course from Stanford. It's either Stanford or Harvard. I'm pretty sure. I think it's Stanford, on YouTube. It's his whole course that's... Okay, I think we're still there. It's his whole course on YouTube, on the Stanford... I'm pretty sure it's Stanford. Robert Sapolsky. And I've watched like 3 or 4 of the sessions, and it's just absolutely captivating to me. He basically goes through, let's see, I'll just read the back so I don't misrepresent him. Every act of human behavior has multiple layers of causation, spiraling back seconds, minutes, hours, days, months, years, even centuries, right back to the dawn of time and the origin of our species. In the epic sweep of history, how does our biology affect the arc of war and peace, justice and persecution? How have our brains evolved alongside our cultures? So, yes, he basically goes through just it's like, I've looked at psychology, kind of abstract psychology, and philosophy, even more abstract, but I haven't really considered the behavioral aspect, the biological component of why we respond to things based on how much sleep we've had the night before. It'll affect how sensitive we are to subconscious triggers, smells, sights around us that then promote a particular response. It's pretty fascinating stuff. So I got this a while ago, and I haven't started reading it yet. It's because I've been consumed with the idea to do the Greek thing and then the Reader's Bible, but I wanna get this in, but I don't want to just get it in. I wanna sit down and actually kind of study this, because I think there'll be quite a lot of great material in here. If his Stanford lectures are any judge, this is going to be phenomenal and become a great reference. Let's break it up with some fiction. real quick, this isn't. I've had this collection, The Death of Ivan Ilyich, and other stories for a while on my shelf. I haven't read any Tolstoy, and I read The Death of Ivan Ilyich, and man, it was really good. And then I really hate that ending. I think it is the ultimate cop out. I think it's terrible. I hate it. But Up Until was good, but I hate that ending, so I'm just setting that out there. Like I said, I've had that one. I didn't get that one recently. Let's see. All these now I have recently got. So, Scarlet Letter by Nathaniel Hawthorne. I love this copy, by the way. I think it's real pretty. That, what is it? Yeah, that oil and just the white cover. I think it's a pretty little book. But my buddy Marcus just finished this this month or something, and he really recommended it. And he posted some excerpts of the writing on his Instagram story, and it has some really great writing. I hear it can be a bore for people, but I don't think a lot of people are gonna sit through Behave or like get attached to it. So I'm okay to be bored. I like a slow progression that doesn't even need to culminate in something dramatic, because that's not life oftentimes. So that's the main criticism. As I hear, this book's a little boring, but the writing is brilliant, and that's all I need. Some good insights, some good writing. So Scarlet Letter, fiction. Dickens, Great Expectations. I conflate Dickens with Twain all the time, and I do not like Twain. I haven't tried to reread him in a while, but I just don't like the concept or atmosphere of his books. I don't find them enjoyable. And I conflate the two, Dickens and Twain. But I decided, Dickens, Christmas Carol, good writing, some good philosophy, some good insights. And my local used bookstore was having a book sale on books that were priced $3. You buy two, you get the third free. So I just picked this up. I don't know when I'll read this. It might be quite a while, but nice to have anyways. This was another $3 one that I'd heard of somewhere. I love the cover, and it's in good condition. And like I said, I had heard of it. Andre Gide or something. The Immoralist. Sounds interesting. I'm not sure how immoral it's going to be compared to today's standards. It's when was it written? I don't know. He got the Nobel Prize for Literature in 1947, so somewhere around then. So I assume what they consider immoral is probably just going to be carnal pleasure and free thought, which isn't really a demarcation of perversion in our society. So our society we live in today, but hopefully it's good. But really that cover is that's awesome, and it was part of that sale, so I picked it up. It seems pretty good. I hear it's pretty good. I'll look on Goodreads before I blind buy. Okay, Bukowski, Hollywood. I've read Factotum, Post Office, some of his poetry. I think that's it. And I love Bukowski. He's really good at evoking poignancy through mundane, even elementary language. He doesn't have to say a lot to get his point across, but I think he gets his point across better than Hemingway a lot better, you know. So, and you know, he's criticized for being a dirty man or whatever, but he read his poetry. If you don't like some of the way he represents people in his novels, just read his poetry, and you'll see his heart. He cared a lot for people, and he had great insight, and he was just an artist. He felt a lot, and knew how to communicate it. So I always respect that, and I like to read Bukowski kind of in between harder books of literature, you know, harder pieces, more dense pieces, or just, you know, denser nonfiction pieces, because it's just completely pleasurable. You know, you can burn through Bukowski in no time, and it's very engaging, and you still learn a little bit about the human condition. So it's not like you're reading, you know, dime novels. It's still literature. You still learn. That's important. Okay, now at Goodwill, which I don't know if they have these in over the pond. Maybe it's just an American thing, but just basically just a thrift store. I found this out of nowhere. The First Man by Camus. This is his last piece that he didn't finish. It was compiled by his sister. I'm not seeing who it was compiled by right off the bat. Anyways, yeah, I'm not going to waste any more time trying to figure it out. But anyways, it was not finished. It was compiled, and it just seems pretty good. And it was $2, hardcover. I mean, I couldn't pass it up. I like Camus, and it's going to be interesting to see how he thought right before his untimely end. So there's that. Okay, some cool ones here. I'll do this one first. On Crimes and Punishments by Bakari. I'm not good at pronunciation whatsoever, but anyways, I've heard about this one, and it's basically set up as it's just a big essay, and it's delineating and trying to put its finger, for lack of a better word right now, on what crime or what type of punishment each crime should have. So you got like infamy, and he just, you know, it's a topic. So the crime of infamy or political idleness, and he just kind of writes about what the punishment would be. Banishment, the spirit of the family, proceedings and limitations on criminal prosecutions, crimes of violence, promptness of punishment. So, seems interesting, and I do hear that a lot of it is transferred over to the way our penal system works today, at least in America. So it's influential, it's short, it looks fun, it's nonfiction, and that's what I've really been into lately, and why not? It looks really good. I like torture here. Like anything that, that was kind of disjointed. I said I like, and I was going to say something else, you know, and then I saw torture. I don't like torture, alright? Don't try and torture me. Imprisonment, I don't like that either. Yeah. Suicide. I definitely don't like suicide. I guess the idea of it, not like have suicided before. That wouldn't really pan out. But yeah, On Crimes and Punishments seems good. Seems like a good little beach read, you know. If you want to just read about what should happen to a man that tortures another or commits suicide, what should happen to his family. just read it on the beach while your family's listening to Journey and drinking Miller, which I do as well, of course. All right, then I got these. Actually, I'm gonna just make sure I don't lose this video. My phone might be about to die, so let me. Okay, we're good. So, last couple here. If you know Britannica's Great Books, the whole, what is it, like a 50-some volume set, maybe more. I was gonna buy that at one time, but decided against it because the font's really annoying, and yeah, just I don't know, cost quite a bit, weren't in great condition, just already had quite a bit of the material already on my shelf. But I did want the Syntopicon and the introduction that Morsimer, I can't remember his name, but basically the progenitor of this series. I should know his name. Yeah, Mortimer J. Adler. Yes. I think he wrote the introduction, and he helped compile the Syntopicon, which is really cool. So I actually found these for like $3 each in pretty damn good shape at a antique mall in the middle of the Bible Belt. So that's pretty cool. So I got both Syntopicon volumes, Angel to Love and Man to World. So if you don't know how these are set up, I'll kind of explain or show you. It's basically like a index, a Syntopicon, where you can look up a style, or not a style, like an emotion, and it gives you, like, here we go. Let's see. We'll go to let's see. All right. Democracy. Chapter 16 is Democracy. So it gives you an introduction right here on this page. Let's see. 1 page, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And they're tiny font, and they're in 2 columns. So probably really like 15-page little essay on these different topics, and then it gives you references to page numbers on the full set that you can look up. So it gives you an outline of topics, and then it just let's see if you can see at the bottom there. See, it'll mention authors and give you a page number to go look up whatever when they employ or when they reference whatever idea they're talking about. If it's democracy, if it's education, if it's God, if it's desire, if it's family, experience. That's in the first Syntopicon, Angel to Love. And Man to the World, then it goes into sections: poetry, punishment, rhetoric, prudence, poetry again, pleasure and pain, oligarchy, necessity and contingency, nature. And again, with each section, it gives you quite a thorough little essay. So, I mean, you could just pick it up and read the essay, and the material that it's going to be referencing is the great books, the great material. So, gotta have it. Was happy to find these. They're in pretty good shape. I do need the introduction book, because that is like a full-on like essay about the great books explicitly, and probably synthesizes all of this material into one. So that would be useful. And then the last book that I got, and last book I have for you here, is I've finished reading it. Letters to a Young Contrarian. I've been meaning to read this for quite a while. I haven't had a copy, and wow, it was great. This is like comfort food, you know. This is it's it's like reaffirmation that doesn't fall into the category of a dogma or something. Like it's supplying advice and loose rules, but Hitchens acknowledges the fact that if you're a free thinker, don't take this. You have to adapt to your environment and your surroundings. Hitchens knew as well as anybody that time changes everything. It'll change advice. There's some tenets that at least seem to be axiomatic and here to stay, but a lot of the advice that he gives, he acknowledges the fact, to be weary of the consequences of time, and just to intelligently, critically assess whatever's in front of you, assess your own desires, your own motivations, be very dubious of them, make sure your pursuits are truly yours. And it's great. I think I might do a larger review on this, but I'm gonna conclude at that. I'm gonna read kind of the synthesis of the peroration, the closing to Hitchens, kind of his synthesis of all his advice in the essay, and states it rather beautifully. So I have no peroration or clarion note on which to close. Beware the irrational, however seductive. Shun the transcendent and all who invite you to subordinate or annihilate yourself. Distrust compassion. Prefer dignity for yourself and others. Don't be afraid to be thought arrogant or selfish. Picture all experts as if they were mammals. Never be a spectator of unfairness or stupidity. Seek out argument and disputation for their own sake. The grave will supply plenty of time for silence. Suspect your own motives and all excuses. Do not live for others any more than you would expect others to live for you. So like I said, I'll probably do a larger review on this book. It's comfort food. It's comforting and also inciting. So maybe that's a fair description of inspiration. Comforting and inciting at once. So, get off your ass, do something that challenges yourself, and strive to learn something new and be something more every day that you live. So that's it till the next video. I don't know when it's gonna be. I'm gonna start I could have ended it. I'm going to. I'm gonna end with that peroration. I figured that I thought that was a good speech. Yep. Okay. Goodbye. Don't die.